pain, and injuries. Get back to enjoying life sooner. Schedule your appointment online at tn.houston.com. Conveniently located in the TriStar Summit Medical Center in Hermitage, right off I-40. When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in the day before July 4th. Maybe as slow a sports day as there is. Think about it. Maybe with the exception of, maybe Christmas Eve. That's probably about right. In spite of that, in spite of the facts, we got a good show for you today. My buddy Danny Evans is going to join us around 3:20. We'll take some phone calls for him around 3:40. And then Jeff Fisher, the commissioner, will join us at 4 o'clock. So we got a lot to get into. Let's say hello to Billy Derrick, broadcasting from his home. Hello, Billy.
Hello, George. Yeah, this is definitely one of the slower days. Can you remember a July 4th show that like, man, you had a lot going on?
Well, yeah, unfortunately I can. And I think people know where I'm going. It's 16 years ago tomorrow that we lost Steve McNair. And that's one of the it's one of the most sobering. I was on the air for about 5 hours that day. And what I didn't know as I got to the station was that the murder scene was less than 100 yards from where we were broadcasting. And I did not know that going in. And the police kind of stopped me when I got there because I had gotten a tip about 45 minutes before it got announced that it had happened. And so I notified the station of what I had, and we went on the air. And that's a day I won't soon forget.
Yeah, I just watched that documentary on Netflix, and I didn't realize how, because you get up in the morning, and it was because it happened that night, that midnight, right?
Oh, it happened it happened apparently more like about, I want to say 4 in the morning. The truth of it is we provided Metro Police with a surveillance tape. We had a brand new surveillance system that had been installed like 4 days earlier. And so it kind of showed when Steve arrived up there in the early hours, like 2 in the morning, and then the rest of it.
Awful.
Yeah.
Have you seen that documentary?
I have not. Would you say there was anything new to it?
No, I don't think there was a lot new to it, but it was a really cool look at his college career, kind of how he grew up, how much of a fixture in Nashville he was, and that team was really in 1999. So it's almost a little bit of a mix between, Steve McNair, his life, and, the 99 season, which I thought was cool. But no, I don't think anything really new. I didn't think anything new came of it.
Yeah. But
we do have an update today. It's brought to you by X Golf, best in the business. You can find their new location out in Royal Oaks South. It's actually in Franklin, not Royal Oaks. 209 South Royal Oaks is where you can find them. Step into the future of golf with X Golf. Experience the most accurate golf simulator and elevate your game like never before. Book your tee time now at playxgolf.com and don't miss out on their restaurant and bar. All right, we've got some new uniforms for Tennessee. to take a look at. If you're watching the podcast, there they are. Somehow these get worse every year. And every team maybe not every team, but most teams in college football do this. They have a form of a uniform that looks totally different what they usually wear. They're calling this the Volunteer Spirit Edition. They posted a hype video, got some pictures on Twitter. They are highlighting the state's reputation of service and sacrifice within the U.S. Armed Forces. And
so, is it that the stuff on the shoulders is different, or the fact that the pants?
I think it's
gray?
more. I think it's more of the pants. The jersey's a darker gray, the pants are lighter gray, and then you got the helmet with a lighter shade of gray as well. But this is the first time I think they've done military themed jerseys. Typically it's just I don't really know. Typically it's just the Tennessee Smoky Mountains. That's really what I think of. But they've got military theme this year. They'll wear them on November 15th against New Mexico State. That'll be homecoming for Tennessee. So there you go. Also, some basketball news here locally. Vanderbilt is set to travel to Memphis for an in-state battle with the Tigers at FedEx Forum on December the 17th as part of this year's non-conference schedule. It marks the beginning of a home-and-home with Memphis coming to Memorial Gym next year. This year's meeting will be the 17th all-time between the Commodores and the Tigers, with the series tied at 8. They met, if you remember, at FedEx Forum a couple of years back. Vanderbilt was not good at the time. Obviously, that was Jerry Stackhouse's last season. Vanderbilt almost won. They almost won that game, lost 77-75. George, these games have been close. I saw a stat that of the previous 16 matchups in this series, only 4 of them have been decided by 10 or more points.
Yeah, I guess I'm glad it's happening. I've always thought that it makes sense for Vandy and I'm not going to say Memphis State, although it was when I was there. I've always thought it made sense for those two teams to play, and I'm glad it's happening. And I hope that that maybe this is the start of some long-term stuff.
Yeah, and obviously with Tennessee already, I don't think they made an official announcement, but you can kind of read between the lines that don't think Rick Barnes wants to play Memphis anytime soon. But what's interesting about this series though is that these college basketball teams, I mean, their season starts. When do they usually start? George,
First week of November.
First week November, and it's July, and they're still figuring out non-conference games. So that's kind of a weird aspect to college basketball that coaches still have to figure some of those games out, plug games in. So Vanderbilt and Memphis have a home-and-home. Also college baseball, Virginia, left-handed pitcher Evan Blanco has transferred to Tennessee. So Vitello continuing to load up in the portal. He went 12-8 with a 4.17 ERA in 3 seasons with the Cavaliers, where he made 26 starts. He didn't have a great year last year. He was hampered by a little bit of an injury, but his good year was 2 seasons ago. Started 18 games in 2024 and pitched really well for the Cavaliers. He was their ace and led them to Omaha. He picked Tennessee over Miami, A&M, and Mississippi State. So continuing to load up in the portal is Tony Vitello. Also in the big league level, kind of a crazy story here with Guardians right-hander Luis Ortiz. He is under investigation by Major League Baseball after a betting integrity firm flagged a pair of pitches that had received unusual gambling activity. Apparently, the firm sent an alert to sportsbook operators regarding Ortiz, whom MLB has placed on non-disciplinary paid leave through July 17th. And what's crazy about it is the alert, according to sources who reviewed it, referenced action on his first pitches in select innings to be a ball or a hit batsman in 2 games. I don't think we've seen this type of story.
No, but it does make me wonder, is the betting thing going too far when that's something you can bet on? I'd never heard that before. That's a new one. It just seems like, wow, that feels like a little too much. Some people won't agree with that and just, on first blush, when I saw the story, I was like, why is there a bet on that?
Yeah, on individual pitches.
Yeah, it's like the thing, if you've ever been at a ball game with friends and they'll bet at the end of the inning whether the catcher or the umpire, when they throw the ball back to the mound, does it stay on the mound or does it trickle off?
Right. But this individual pitch thing, if sports books have that available, need to take it off because I didn't realize that. But if you did bet on the Dodgers last night, you were in luck. They were in luck, right? The Dodgers won last night, correct?
Yeah, they scored 3 in the bottom of the ninth.
I was going to say, because I saw this highlight, and they were down 4-2 as Kershaw was dealing, but in an absolute packed house. And I know we're going to get to this with Danny, but he had it rolling last night and strikes out the 3,000th batter of his career. And, man, that was as packed and loud as I might have ever seen Dodger Stadium, George.
Well, it's a milestone. And, I might make the argument that we may never again see a pitcher have 3,000 strikeouts. Danny may disagree. I'm gonna toss that at him. But in an era where a starting pitcher who's healthy is only getting to get between 30 and 32 starts, 3,000 strikeouts feels like one that might not ever happen again. And by the way, if you check out Nolan Ryan's strikeout numbers, it's off the charts absurd.
Yeah, Iron Man, is that what they called him?
In fact, I think I'll do that while we're talking because I think his are over 5,000.
Does Kershaw pitch next year?
I think he does. He's still effective. He wasn't particularly good last night. I watched some of it. That was not one of his better performances.
How many did he need last night to get to 3,000?
I think he needed 3.
Okay. Because you see 3,000 strikeout, you're like, man, he must have had it really on last night. But
so listen to this. Nolan Ryan had 5,714 career strikeouts. And when you put that into perspective, that's 250 strikeouts a year for 20 years, and you'd still be 714 short. Now, that's a record that ain't ever going to be broken.
That is unbelievable.
It's crazy.
I've also got some baseball news with the Derby. National slugger James Wood will bring his big bat to the big stage. He'll become the third player to commit, or he has become the third player to commit to the Home Run Derby on July 14th. He's delivered 22 home runs in 86 games during his first full major league season. And that's going to be a fun one. You've got Wood in there. You've got Cal Raleigh in there from Seattle. You've got Ronald Acuna Jr., of course, the Braves in there. He's been in it once before, if I'm not mistaken. And you've also got, you won't have Teoscar Hernandez, the defending champion. He has said he will not defend his Derby crown.
Yeah, I think a lot of hitters really get worried that you get into some very bad habits in the Home Run Derby, or at least some hitters have. So let me ask this question, because I didn't get to see it last night. Did you, by any chance, see the Braves game?
I did not.
I'm told that Jurickson Profar, who played his first game since the drug suspension, got booed early, hit a home run late. And, I'm not sure I know how I'm supposed to feel other than I'm not very happy with him. He screwed their season. Now, he's not the only reason it went south, but among the things that didn't go right was 4 games into the season that gets announced, and he knew about it early in spring training. He had the right to an appeal, but the story I read was that he didn't tell the Braves about it at the time. And so they were hit at in early April. Surprise. Hey, this is great. No, it's not great.
This I didn't think it could get worse for the Braves. Injury wise, off field stuff. I mean, when is this snowball going to stop?
Oh, I don't know. Unlike the Dodgers, who seem to have enough depth to handle damn near any injury you want to throw out there, the Braves don't have that luxury. And the things that are going on, it's just hard.
Oh, well, in that game also, and it was terrible news, but Christian Moore left the field with an apparent injury. As I think he had Profar rounding second, and Moore hurt his wrist, it looked like, as he dove for a ground ball. So hopefully he's okay. It didn't look great, but I saw that clip last night. So hopefully he's okay.
I had not heard that. I'm sorry to hear it.
That's what I got.
Okay. After the break, Danny Evans will join us. Clayton Kershaw will be front and center stage. When we get the discussion going, we'll try to open the phones right around 3:35 to 3:40. So those of you who want to talk a little baseball with Danny can jump on in there. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank & Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank & Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Companies, we help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
and how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the information superhighway. They don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to theGameNashville.com.
The password. We're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are back on this day before we celebrate our country's birthday, 4th of July. And I want to say a special thank you right off the bat to Danny Evans, who could have easily bowed out today, but chose not to. Danny, how are you?
I'm good, George. I like hanging with you, so I'm good. Let's do it.
So, Mr. President, how did last week go?
That was amazing, George. We had about 600 of my closest baseball friends sitting around talking about trends, history, the current game, stadiums, franchises, Negro League baseball, women in baseball, and the greatest trivia questions I have ever heard. George, I'll send you some of them. Oh my gosh, I'm good. I'm real good in trivia. But you put me in that audience and I'm a B plus. And it was a great time. I sure didn't get a lot of sleep, George, but I didn't go to Dallas to sleep. I went there to have fun, and I didn't screw things up too badly as the new president of the board. So it was a lot of fun.
I love the picture you sent me with my buddy Chuck Morgan, the legendary public address voice of the Texas Rangers. Been there 40 years now, was put into that team's Hall of Fame 2-3 years ago. What a good guy.
He is a good guy, George. You know, I hadn't met him, but I'd heard him for 30 years. And I had a great time. I snuck into his booth and went and said hello. And he just told me he'll write a note for me last Thursday if I needed one, because I told him I was supposed to be on with you, but I had to cancel. And very honestly, it was a great time. The Texas ballpark's awesome. Been there a few times. We also went to Frisco to watch a AA game. It's one of the best games I've seen in recent years. But George, Sabre is all about celebrating baseball. And frankly, I had a great time. And I'm really happy with my decision to run for it, because I came back happy as heck and really had a great time.
Danny, I don't know if you can see this, but this is 4 years ago. Me and Chuck in his booth, and I got to pick out music that night. It was really cool. So I'm glad you got to go in there.
George, there was a plaque outside his box commemorating your moment with him. It was really amazing.
Yes.
It was pretty cool.
It was a very small plaque, wasn't it?
You know, I couldn't read it. I got the microscope out and I said, right. Chuck, you spelled George's name right. That's awesome.
That's good. So I brought up a few minutes ago what went on last night in L.A. with Clayton Kershaw. And then a couple of minutes ago, I looked up Nolan Ryan's strikeout numbers, 5,700 plus. But let me ask it this way. Will we ever have another 3,000 strikeout pitcher?
Well, George, I want to put things in perspective. First of all, Clayton's one of the finest human beings I've ever met. He's on my Mount Rushmore for really incredible people I've met in my lifetime. As good a pitcher he is, he's a significantly better human being, and you could see that last night. I teach my class on Wednesday nights, and I stopped it so I could watch the game. You know, I met him when he was 17 years old, 16 years old, and I root for him. George, he's the winningest pitcher in the modern era. Since 1920, he has the lowest earned run average. He's the best ERA plus. His winning percentage, George, is a 697 career winning percentage. I don't think we give him enough credit for how great he has been. And I think Garrett Cole has a chance to be in that group. There's a couple other guys on the periphery, but I think 3,000 strikeouts, just like 300 wins, is probably gone. And I love the way the moment was celebrated last night. I mean, like you, I just love the game. And, here it is, 11:30 at night, and I'm watching it and I'm smiling because this is a guy who loves the game as much as we do. And the game loved him back last night. And I was so worried that he was going to do it in Washington next Monday. And I thought it just wouldn't have been right because he's a Dodger and he's a lifetime Dodger and the fans love him there. And he had 55,000 of his closest friends. George, people were in the ballpark an hour before the game to see that ball game. And there's a love affair between Clayton and the LA fans because he's been so great in the community on top of being so great on the field.
And the cool thing is, it looks like he'll spend his entire career there. Do you think he retires at the end of the year?
I think it's a good chance, George. He's 88, 89 now, whereas he used to be 94, 95. His spin rates are real good. His command is still elite. But I think Clayton's going to want to go on top. The Dodgers have a great chance to go deep into the postseason. And I think for him, that 3,000 number was a big deal. It puts him in real exclusive company. He didn't need it to get in the Hall of Fame. Cooperstown's going to open its doors 5 years after he's done. But I think it was one more thing that he wanted to accomplish. But George, he also wanted to come back from surgery, which he did. And so I think this might be it. I have recorded every single one of his starts because I just enjoy the way he competes during the ball game, and I love him as a human.
So I learned something a couple of days ago that I did not know, and shame on me because I should have known it, that Cal Raleigh, who is having this monster career year, that he grew up in Knoxville because his father, Todd Raleigh, was the coach at Tennessee. I didn't know it.
Isn't that cool? You know what? I think it's for some reason, I don't think we celebrate players' origins enough, George. There's a lot of time on the baseball diamonds and youth fields and people who contributed to people's careers. But yeah, he's a Knoxville guy. And George, you talk about great seasons. When your name's in the same sentence as Johnny Bench and there aren't commas, I think that's a pretty special situation. He's going to participate in the home run derby. But George, on top of it, he's a great game caller, a great leader of that club. And he does amazing things in the Seattle community. This is a real good guy to have a big baseball hug about because he's a real special dude and he can really play.
Boy, you're right about that. Okay, to my team for a second. We know that they've been decimated and probably unlike the Dodgers, who have lived to tell about it. The Braves, I don't think can. Has this forced what I think in late July is the trade of Marcell Ozuna and Raisel Iglesias?
Yeah, George, I mean, injuries are such a big part of the game, and I think you phrased it great. The Dodgers have 16 pitchers on the disabled list.
It's unbelievable.
And they have the best record in baseball, and that's with 3 of their starters down and 4 of their bullpen guys out. And when you lose significant players and you just hover around 500, you and I have watched the game forever. That's an achievement in itself. This team has they've been up in rarefied air all year. You wake up today, they're 7.5, 8 games up on the Giants and the Padres, which in itself is remarkable. But I think what we have in Atlanta is a club that's going to have some real hard decisions to make. Ozuna is a free agent at the end of the year. Iglesias is a guy who has some value. It might be an opportunity for Alex to pare down his current club, not shed salary, but add players for 26. I think Ozuna is gonna have a lot of value. I think in a market that's not gonna have a lot of prominent players, I think the Braves are going to be one of the few teams who can make that decision and still compete somewhat this year, but in reality compete better in 26. And George, when you're a trade partner in late July, you can state your number, what you want in return, and it could be a quick fix for a team that has just been snake bit for the last year and a half.
So give me a really quick answer. I want to get Billy in here. Do you think they would have traded Chris Sale if he weren't hurt?
No, I don't. I think he's such an outstanding guy in the rotation, and he's a cornerstone of their club. George, borderline Hall of Fame stats. I mean, this guy's got great numbers.
Yeah.
I don't think he was going to be traded. I really don't.
Okay, Billy, 4th of July on the 3rd with Danny Evans.
Yeah, and it's got me thinking, and again, always a pleasure to have you on, Danny. My favorite baseball movie is The Sandlot. I mean, it's hard to beat that one. And the scene, the 4th of July scene at night where, they play their only night game of the year. It just doesn't get any better than that. It got me thinking, I know you have one. What's your favorite baseball movie?
I'm going to answer that a little differently, Billy. At the Field of Dreams one year, I actually sent George a picture. I had the entire cast of Sandlot at the Field of Dreams. And I'm hanging out, and a friend of mine got me a Sandlot shirt. So I had a really great Hawaiian shirt with all the characters, and I'm hanging out with Smalls and everybody. I've got some of the most fun photos from that day, and I just kept walking up to Smalls, pointing at him, and you know what I was saying to him, and of course, right? And as a result, I frankly had an experience that very few people get, which is to kind of hang with people that you enjoy. My personal favorite, I love Field of Dreams, but my personal favorite is League of Their Own. I just love it. I just think Hanks is amazing. I think there's so many great characters in that movie. But 1A for me, Billy, is Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars. It's about a Negro League barnstorming group, and it is a spectacular movie. And it's weird because I'm not a big baseball movie guy, just because my whole career has been spent in the ballpark. And if I want to get away, I don't want to go to a movie theater to watch it, to watch my work. I've never seen Moneyball, as George knows, never saw it. But for me, really fun baseball movies. I just like League of Their Own the best.
Now, Billy, let me butt in here because it's one of the all-time great acting performances ever. Bob Uecker in Major League is, man. And when you find out that he ad-libbed all that crap, it's unbelievable.
So, George, Skip Graperis, who was his partner in the booth, is a great Chicago comedian. And Skip told me it was all ad-libbed. He had no idea what was coming. So when he does that, just a little bit outside, the ball's back at the backstop. And some of the lines he had, Graperis said if it were live, he'd have been in big trouble because he just burst into laughter. And then they had to retake it and, add from him there. But that was Uecker. And if I could tell a quick Uecker story.
Do it.
1984 or 5, I think it was 5. We're playing a 25-inning game against the Milwaukee Brewers. And Uecker's doing the game on the radio. So, Billy, Bob Uecker is as irreverent in a press box as he is anywhere else. So our PR guy calls me when the last pitch is made. And he said, Danny, how many pitches was that? Well, moi charted every pitch of the game. So I said, well, that was 640 3 pitches. Euchre is in the next booth. And Paul Jensen, the PR guy, goes, this game featured 643 pitches in the ball game. Euchre jumps out and he said, I had 645. The entire press box exploded. He comes over and he noogied me and he goes, you missed one at some point. And I'm like, love you, man. This is awesome. But yeah, that's good. And that movie for me is right there because I mean some of the characters, like when the one dude comes out, the guy from LA Law, Corbin Benson, brings the contract out during BP, and let's just say the manager relieves himself on the contract. It's just priceless. It's like stuff you'd like to do that I couldn't do through my career. But yeah, that there's some really great baseball movies.
Danny, I know we've talked a lot about this, and I know Kelly's asked you about it, but the Mets already have some pitching injuries as well. We know about the Braves, we know about the Dodgers, and it's widely acknowledged about these guys are probably throwing too hard. They're being worked too much. That their training is off in one way or the other. Is it almost a lost art for a guy to be trained up through high school, college? And there probably are still some coaches that train the 90 mile an hour, 91. I don't know if you've seen Connor Fennell at Vandy. He's a really good example. He's keep an eye on him because he's rare. But is that are enough people and coaches still training players to pitch like that? Or is it almost like a lost cause and we're going to keep having all these injuries?
Billy, we've always had injuries. It's just now that MRIs are as sophisticated as they are.
Yeah.
We find tears, we find problems with elbows, with shoulders. We didn't know that 40 years ago. Guys just had what they called a dead arm, didn't pitch anymore after age 28. I mean, there's so many guys on Baseball Reference that when you really look through their careers, you see them stopping at 29. And when I first started, there were a lot of guys between 28 and 32 that they're just done. Billy, I think what we have today is a little bit too much of a focus on singular sports. Instead of playing multiple sports and delving into other games, getting into soccer, into lacrosse, into flag football, whatever, hockey. And instead of being just so uber focused on baseball, it's an unnatural throwing action. There's been injuries throughout baseball history. And in the modern era, I would say in the wild card era, just look at how many guys have been dinged up. Billy, I don't know if you know, but almost 50% of players on big league rosters that are pitchers have had Tommy John. Some have had 2, a couple have had 3. And I think what we're doing is we're training for velocity instead of for command and getting outs. And I think it's starting to change a little bit, but I think we also know more about rehabbing than ever before. And I think we're getting better at it, but I think the advent of technology within MRIs is part of the reason we have more injuries than ever, because in the past, guys would just pitch through it thinking it was soreness. And now we're paying them a lot of money, 7-8 figures a year. And subsequently, what you're seeing is the investment, the asset that is their left or right arm, we're protecting it as a game.
All right, George and I got into this in the update in regards to Guardians right-hander Luis Ortiz, and I don't think I've ever seen a story like this. He got flagged. A pair of pitches got flagged in this deal here, and I don't think there's probably some people that'll read this and say, "What did I just read?" Could you explain this for people who may not understand it and what this could mean for him?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's a shame. Rule 23 is the most important rule in baseball. We talked a few weeks ago, George, about Rose, about Jackson. You know where I stand. I am anti anything to do with gambling in the game on the field. I think what we saw was a great story today from Jeff Passan, who's one of the elite writers in the game. He uncovered the fact that there were bets made on first pitches within innings or at bats, and subsequently a heightened amount of activity between pitches. And that's what flagged everybody. If that's true, goodbye, as far as I'm concerned. I don't want him in the game anymore. I don't want, we as fans, and we're fans, every one of us listening right now, we are fans of the sport. And we also believe it's on the up and up. That's why we don't like cork bats. That's why we don't like cheating on pitches. That's why we don't like PEDs, because we want to see the game in its purest form. Well, Altuve and Judge play in the same game. I mean, you're talking a monster 6'8", another guy 5'4". We love the purity of the game. And once that gets messed with, it's bad. And some people will say, well, baseball shouldn't have gambling in it. Baseball can have gambling in it, but the participants know that if they participate in the gambling element, they are threatening their career. That should be enough to destroy someone from even contemplating it. But those that do, and there's people in every walk of life that do things that are unsightly, that are things that aren't in the best interest of their business and their game, they should be punished accordingly.
Okay, let's go to the break on that. We will take some phone calls for Danny after the break. He loves doing it, and apparently you all do as well, at 615-553-0933. Again, 615-553-0933. So if you're going to get in now, because we'll move it in a big hurry. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Let's get this turned around. And we're all saying, no, they don't. Here.
You thought you were on your way.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back, and we're talking baseball with Danny Evans, and nobody does it better than the former Dodger GM. I've got room for one or two more of you at 615-553-0933, but you better hurry. Billy, there are a couple of good text questions as well. Eric on line one, say hello to Danny Evans.
First of all, Danny, and I want to wish this to you, George, everybody out there and all the listeners have a great, safe 4th of July, and especially be careful you're shooting off fireworks.
Amen, and the same to you, Eric, and your family.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Before I get to my Reds talk I was going to talk about, you were talking about baseball movies. I can tell you two that I really like. One that came out a few years ago, Chadwick Boseman in 42, where he's playing Jack Robinson.
Great movie.
He's gone. He was a great actor, and just gone too soon. And it's just a shame because I think he had just a fantastic career ahead of him because he was going to be a superstar. And of course, I guess the Harrison Ford played Branch Rickey. But the other film that I really, really like, it came down in the early 80s. It's fiction, of course, The Natural, Roy Hodge with Robert Redford, Glenn Close, Kim Basinger, I believe was in the film, Wilford Brimley, and I believe also Darren McGavin. And I think his role was like uncredited. But I thought that was just a great, great movie.
I agree. And Eric, if I could say, Jackie Robinson is one of my personal heroes. So I loved that movie. That was terrific.
That was a great movie.
Yep.
Yeah. And then as far as the Reds, you know, the interesting thing about them is I'm definitely pleased with the way they're playing, although they wound up not taking 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox. Because they had, I think, before that 6 out of the last series, they had won like 2 out of 3. But I did not know this. This totally caught me off guard. I know, you know, a few weeks ago they had problems with getting shut out and had trouble hitting. And they had some losing streaks for like 4 or 5 games. But I guess the announcers mentioned they're the only team in baseball that's not been swept in a series. And when I heard that stat, I was stunned. I thought for sure they had been swept by somebody. But according to them, they said the Reds had not been swept. And hopefully they can keep it up after the All-Star break. I mean, I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs or not. Maybe they get a wild card. I think it's going to be tough with the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Cardinals. But Danny, the one main thing I want to ask you is with the trade deadline coming up, you know, I'm sure they're probably buyers. It's just like, is there a move you think they can make? Could they pick up like a starter, relieving pitcher, a hitter, a bat, you know, at a position? Or just what are your thoughts about what type of move you think they will or should make with the Reds? And just hopefully they'll keep it up. Guys, y'all take care. Have a happy 4th, and we'll talk again soon.
Eric, same to you. Thank you.
You can hear Eric's voice. He's pumped about his Reds. They're playing well. They're 3 over 500. That NL Central suddenly has become a very good division in the last few weeks. There's 4 teams playing really well. I think Cincinnati needs to add a right-handed bat. They're a little too left-handed. They struggle against lefties. They get a couple of those injured guys back, they're going to be okay. But Eric, I think more than anything, they're playing with a lot of energy right now. And De La Cruz is starting to become the guy we all thought he would. That's a team to look for, and I don't think they're going to sit on their hands. I think they're going to be a mild buyer, and I think this is a club that's on the come in the second half of the season.
And part of the reason I'm with you is that guy sitting in that dugout is a Hall of Fame manager, and he is teaching them how to win.
Yeah, and Georgie also has the coolest manager's seat in the game in the dugout.
Yeah.
He's got a captain's boat chair. I actually texted him a couple weeks ago, and I just asked him where the life preserver was. And you know, to me, when you're cool enough to build a captain's chair in the dugout, you're just flat cool. I mean, that is. Imagine the 3 of us going to the stadium ops guy, going, "Hey, I need a captain's chair in the dugout." "Yeah, right, Dan. Yeah, George. Yeah, okay, Billy. No problem." It was there the next day.
Amazing. Billy, what do you got for Danny?
Well, I think this is a good one from Ty in the chat. Danny, who are your starting pitchers for the All-Star game?
Well, you know, it's a good question. I answered it in the chat, which I just love. George is right. I love chatting back and forth. I think Billy catches me in there a lot during breaks. Starting pitchers in the All-Star game are predicated and really decided by their start day before the All-Star game. So we play on Tuesday. The problem is if they start on Sunday, the rules preclude them from starting in the All-Star game. Well, if you're in the race and you've got any tenderness and it's a Friday or Saturday start, I mean, guys love to start the All-Star game. It's a showcase. It's a dream for most players growing up. Folks, it's a really big deal to play in the All-Star game for a player. You would be amazed how big a deal it is. I think in reality, it should be Scooble. It should be a guy like Yamamoto. Should be somebody like that. But we don't know what day they're going to throw. And we really don't do it without plotting out their starts. Whatever it is, I'm telling you, folks, the starting lineups of the 2 leagues is really rocking. And the home run derby on Monday, they're going to do uniforms celebrating Ruth and celebrating Aaron. I think it's going to be a really cool game.
Danny, Scooble, I guess it was Sunday night, kind of showed the country. Because, I mean, let's face it, even though Detroit's been a lot better in the last year and a half, they have not had a ton of national exposure. He feels like he's going to win Cy Young again.
He's nasty, George. He's got 80 command, 3+ pitches, a killer changeup, throws strikes at both parts of the plate, and he competes like hell. And a guy like that from the left side throwing 97 is a really spectacular human being. He's got all sorts of winner in that blood system. And for me, he's made another notch, another step in his game since last year. He's a lot of fun to watch. I record every one of his games, and then I blow through it streaming. And I'll be honest with you, I love watching the guy pitch.
I've got a proposal, George. I know Danny's getting out of here at 4 because we got Jeff Fisher coming on. At the request of Ty, he told me we've got to ask Danny the stat of the day today. It's a must.
Okay, let's go ahead and do it.
Okay,
go ahead.
This will and this will obviously be for you as well. But I think this is a really good stat of the day, and it's brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin.
Yeah, but hold on. What you're inferring is, George, you're eligible, but we know damn good and well you're not getting it.
Well, hey, it's going to be interesting to see. I think you can, but I think Danny's got a great shot. But
okay,
George and I can confer, though. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
hey,
had a baby.
Hey, the thing's got my name on it. We can cheat however we want.
Oh, George, I love it. I want my own show if that's the case. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Pete Crow Armstrong and Kyle Tucker will be the first Cubs outfielders to start the All-Star game since whom? Which player? It's one guy.
It's one guy. Okay. So, Danny, if we're going back ridiculously, Andre Dawson, I'm guessing, started in 87 when he was the MVP.
Yeah,
but
I think it's after that, though, George.
Yeah, I think it is too. So,
God, I'm such an all-star game nerd, too. This is really fun. Chris Bryant was playing third, so he's not the guy. Schwarber was a catcher, first base, outfielder.
Who else was on that title team? Jason Hayward, but he didn't end up in the All-Star game.
Fowler.
Yeah.
David Ross. You know, George, let me ask you this. What about going all the way back to someone like Bob Dernier years and years ago with the 84, 85 Cubs? Is that too long ago? I'm just wondering.
The Daily Double, Bobby Dernier and Ryan Sandberg. And let me hear you.
Let me hear you, George. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the finest players in the game. I'm going to guess, and I've got another guess. And I kind of missed on this one at first. But I was just thinking, Kosuke Fukudome got a massive write-in from the Japanese. When he first came over, he had a 3-run homer on opening day to win the ball game, and he was like a monster player in Japan. I saw him when he was a Chinichi Dragon, and boy, could he play. I remember Major League Baseball was stunned by the write-in online for Fukudome, so I'm going to go on a long plank here. I might be way wrong, but I'm 6,000 miles away. It's already the 4th of July in Japan, so they may not notice that I messed up. But I'm going to say Fukudome, and if not Fukudome, I would go back to Bob Dernier.
And it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, a baby, George. I like it.
What do we got?
Danny, you've been flagged for suspicious activity.
Beautiful.
It is Fukudome.
Well, I've got my Chinichi Dragons flag about 5 feet to my right. Billy. And Fukudome, candidly, is one of the best players I have ever seen. The only problem is when he came to the States, when he came to North America, he was already on the spiral down in his career. But when I saw this guy in Japan, he was a dude. I mean, he was a great player. And I was thinking when we were talking, I was trying to think of guys that were liked more than they played as well as. And I remember the comments of people within Major League Baseball not realizing how popular Fukudome was on the other side. And so no cheating, nothing like that. Rule 23 is in effect on Stat of the Day too.
No, it is not. Actually, let me put it a different way. It would help me if it was not, because clearly I haven't done all that well. I wonder who the last one before Fukudome is, and I don't doubt that it's either Andre Dawson or Bobby Dernier.
Yeah, the Cubs have not developed outfielders, guys, through the years, and I grew up 2 miles away, so I'm a closet Cub fan. I mean, I just am. I'll tell you, George, that'll be something I'll look up and I'll text you. I've got the silly database here from Sabre that I can get that, and as a brand ambassador for Baseball Reference, I can pull that up really quickly, and I'll check it out and I'll send it back to you.
Okay, leave us with this, Danny. 4th of July for baseball nuts like you and I are about things like fireworks and baseball, and it all revolves around this great game. I've got a couple of weird ones because the Braves have had a couple of weird ones. A 19-inning game that went to 4:30 in the morning. Denny McLain pitching game 2 of a twilight doubleheader in 1972. So I'm going to ask, what's your craziest 4th of July baseball memory?
Well, first of all, the 4th of July for baseball people is a difficult day because everybody else has a day off and you're working. And it's always been hard for me because I kind of felt like I was being robbed of a great summer holiday. Not whining, I'm just being realistic. I mean, you talk to your friends, they're all go,
it's
come
like
to
Christmas
our
for basketball people.
Well, totally.
Yeah.
And Billy, the problem is they invite you to picnics and they invite you to grilling, and you're like, dude, I'm going to be in a ballpark. I'm sorry, but I'm happy. George, the coolest thing that I remember is Cincinnati one year, and I don't remember the year, but I was there scouting, and it was a great game. It was, typical really cool Cincinnati July 4th. It was like 102 with 9 gazillion% humidity. And when the game was over, a great fireworks show. And then I drove up the river to New Richmond, Ohio. I had a Grater's ice cream and I forget the name of the spaghetti, but I had that, but I had it in inverse order. I had dessert for dinner and dinner for dessert. And I sat on the banks of the Ohio and I thought to myself, all right, this actually doesn't suck this year. I've had a really cool day and I got to enjoy the heck out of it. And then I promptly spilled the rest of my ice cream all over my shirt. And I just went, well, it is time for Danny to go home to the hotel. So it was, it's a great day, but it's also, as you know, George, it's the day that we in baseball all realize we're either in or out in the pennant race. And it can be kind of somber because you start to go, we're in big trouble. Or you go, all right, let's ramp it up for the postseason. The second one, and I'll say it real quickly, was being in Korea on the 4th of July and how weird it was that it was just another day on the calendar.
Wow, that is weird. Danny, you were really nice to do this. I know you've got obligations right at the top of the hour, so go.
I do. Thanks, guys. Have a great holiday weekend. Thanks to all the fans for their participation. look forward to seeing you guys again next week.
You too
Thanks,
as
Danny.
well. Thanks, Danny. Okay, after the break, no stat of the day, but we'll be joined by the commissioner of, what do they call that thing?
AF1, Arena
AF1.
Football 1.
I got to write that down because I never get that right. Jeff Fisher, after the break, this is 94.9, The Fan.
Can't watch the race? We got you.
I can't believe it!
NASCAR lives on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Whether it's 102.5 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, or Sports Talk 830, you can hear it all. Just check theGameNashville.com for the full schedule. NASCAR lives here. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Make your Yellowstone area vacation unforgettable at the Buffalo Bill Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 family-friendly museums packed with wildlife, art, culture, and authentic Western experiences. Plan your adventure now at centerofthewest.org.
It's Family Leisure's 4th of July sale. Huge savings on pools, spas, grills, and outdoor furniture.
Above ground pools start at only $19.99. 24-foot pools are only $29.99. Installed. Guaranteed installation in less than 7 days.
Wow, that's fast.
These warm summer nights are perfect for sitting outside.
Family Leisure's 4th of July sale has big savings on patio furniture from all the big brand names. Berlin Gardens, Three Palms, Woodard, and Tropitone. Save up to 70% on in-stock furniture. 5-piece dining sets start at $8.99. 4-piece deep seating groups are only $14.99.
Hundreds of Chase lounges at buy one, get one at half price.
Right now, for the 4th of July sale, Family Leisure is discounting all their spas. Name brands like Catalina, Artesian, and American Select. There are more than 40 spas on display and on sale at both locations.
I think it's time for me to get a new Sabre infrared grill, too.
It's Family Leisure's 4th of July sale going on now at both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Hey guys, Big Joe here from my friends over at Busy Bee. It is July and it is hot, so you need to make sure your HVAC is up and running, and that is why you need to be a member of the Beehive Club. I am a member, and it is the best. The peace of mind Busy Bee gives me that if anything goes wrong, it is taken care of is wonderful, and we need you. Let's go to busybeehvac.com, busybeehvac.com. Sign up today and get 1 free yearly Beehive membership to give to anyone in your neighborhood. That's how great it is. Busy Bee, always there for you.
This 4th of July, celebrate under the stars and above the crowd at JBJ's Rooftop. It's the highest rooftop on Broadway and the place to catch fireworks, skyline views, and the coolest party in town. Tickets start at just $50, and that's one of the best deals on Broadway. Get the shoulder chaos on the street and elevate your night with 2 rooftop bars, live music, and unbeatable vibes, all with front row views of Nashville's incredible fireworks show. Tickets at jbjsnash.com/events.
Want to go big this 4th of July? Go mad. Mad Fireworks. We don't do small. We do sky-filling, neighbor-waking, red, white, and boom fireworks that light up your whole summer. There's 64 locations in Tennessee. Go to madfireworks.com to find the one near you. We got the wildest selection in the state, from family packs to full-blown finale shows, all at prices that'll blow your mind. Not your budget. Mad Fireworks. Get loud. Get lit. Go mad. Check out madfireworks.com for the location nearest you.
Save big at the Electronic Express 4th of July sale with huge deals in every department. Get cooking this summer with this Traeger grill, just $4.99. Or watch your favorite movies on this LG 55-inch smart TV, only $279. At Electronic Express, the more you buy, the more you save. Shop now and save up to an additional $1,200 on all appliances. 24 months interest-free financing? We've got that too. Shop in store or at electronicexpress.com.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back, and first things first, let's try a couple of things here. First, Ty Wellemeyer from our staff giving me the news that it was Sammy Sosa after or before Fukudome being the last Cub outfielder to make the All-Star team, 2004 being the year. And even before that, in 1990, I was right about Andre Dawson, but not the year, 1990. Now, 87 was the year that baseball got itself in all the trouble with collusion. And the deal was that the former chairman of the 84 Olympics in Los Angeles, Peter Ueberroth, who was a marketing whiz, had become commissioner of baseball. I personally don't think Peter Ueberroth knew if a baseball was pumped or stuffed, but I don't have anything to base that on. I know that he got in a room and basically told the owners essentially to collude. The Cubs, when Andre Dawson, who was a great player with the Montreal Expos, became a free agent, suddenly nobody would deal with him. And so Andre Dawson's agent had him pull the stunt of giving the Cubs a blank contract and saying, fill it out for whatever amount you want to fill it out that's legal. And the Cubs went with, I believe the number was $500,000. And he ended up hitting 49 homers that year, and I believe was the National League's most valuable player. That's what I remember.
The game has changed, to say the least.
Yeah. So I'm told that we're having trouble getting a hold of Jeff Fisher, who I think is up in Montana, and I have no idea what kind of phone service they have in Montana.
He's probably fishing.
Well, he could be. And I'm going to open up the phone lines here in just a few minutes. This is traditionally, okay, Dawson did start. Ty sending me that Andre Dawson did start the All-Star game in 87. God knows he should have, because he put up monster numbers that year, and I don't even have them in front of me. So, Billy, before we do that, it'll be 16 years ago tomorrow on Steve McNair. And because of what I was doing and where I was doing it, sadly, I had a front row seat to all of the drama. So I brought it up earlier. I found out about 45 minutes before the police released the news that Steve McNair had been murdered. And I called our program director, Brad Willis, and told him, here's what I've got. It's true. And I'll be at the station, in 45 minutes. And initially, I really didn't know where the murder had taken place, had no idea. And so when I got to the station, which was at 506 2nd Avenue South, I was absolutely shocked to find that the actual murder had taken place. I could throw a football from where we were doing the show to the murder scene, and I actually was given a tour of the house a couple of days later. There are a lot of people that don't believe the explanation of what happened and how it happened. I know that I've wondered if that young lady by herself could have done that, and I admit that I'm not real sure of that. So there were a couple of things that I remember about the whole deal. Number one, I was on the air that afternoon for about 5 hours. And Dave, whoever you are on the line, hang with me because I'll get to you here in a couple of minutes. I was on the air for about 5 hours from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon till about 7 o'clock. And you've got all these people coming downtown who are getting ready for the fireworks on exactly the kind of hot day you would expect in Nashville, Tennessee on July the 4th, who have no idea what's going on and are starting to get the information off our show. One of the things that I remember that was so eerie for me was that over the next 2 to 3 weeks, the number of, I guess you'd call police, helicopters, all that kind of stuff that continued to fly over the scene. Our police chief at the time was Ronald Surpass, and he came on our show on Wednesday of that week to tell us that the investigation had been wrapped up. I know there were a lot of people very skeptical about that. I don't know whether, truthfully, that's how it went down or not. But I remember when we would leave the station either at 6 or 7 o'clock, it was so eerie how many of these choppers and all this kind of stuff would fly over, right around the radio station and the murder scene. And I remember, Billy, one of the people who's put a documentary together about it is Armin Katayan, who was once also a sideline reporter for CBS. And I remember several years ago, he called me and sort of gave me the, "Are you the person that handed over the surveillance tape?" Yeah, I am. Our engineer, Cameron Atkins, it kind of hit him that, hey, we've got this brand new security system. We called the police. I called my buddy Don Aaron, who has been the public information officer for the Metro Nashville Police Department for years. And I'm telling you, when we told them we thought we had a tape that might help them, they were there like that. It was amazing how quick they were there. It's still a sad deal for me. There were so many good qualities about Steve McNair. Loved dealing with him. I can still see kind of that laugh and that smile he had. It's just a shame that, his life got taken way too early.
Yeah. And, like I said, the documentary that's on Netflix is a good look at the process of, early that morning. Obviously, cops get there and, their thinking is that it's a normal everyday situation. It's, they're not expecting to hear and find out that this is Steve McNair. And there was a point in the documentary where everything changed at that moment naturally because of his stature. But my question, George, is, because that happened in 2009. I had forgotten the year it happened, and then they showed it up on the screen or the documentary. How active was he? Because when did he retire?
Without having it in front of me, I want to say within a year or two of that.
Okay, so he was
look,
still.
I may be dead wrong, and if somebody's got the answer, let us know, because I don't have it in front of me.
So he was still living in Nashville, active, around town, like, and with what because he had, obviously they documented him, going to Baltimore later in his career, but he still loved Nashville. I think that's what hit people so hard.
Well, he became, I guess I'm getting the note that he retired in 2007. Yeah, I mean, he was incredibly popular, not only because, he had a breakout year where he and Peyton Manning were co-MVPs of the league, but he won over a lot of people with his community work around the 98 tornado, where he organized some massive tornado relief help. Above and beyond all else, Steve was a good guy.
Yeah, that's you just hate every time because you wake up every July 4th. You know, if you had met Steve, if you encountered Steve, that's sort of the first thing you think of. So
yeah,
it's awful.
I'm sorry we haven't been able to get Jeff on the line. I have no idea what it's like up in Montana. I'm guessing it gets a little interferency, if you will. Dave, if you will be patient with me, you'll be the first caller after the break. This is not necessarily the way we had it planned, but you know what? If you're out there listening and you want to talk a little sports, man, I'd love to hear from you because we got a couple of segments to fill, and that's just the way it works on what I kind of think is either the slowest sports day in sports talk radio or maybe Christmas Eve. Anyway, lines are open. Imagine that. 615-553-0933 is the number. Again, 615-553-0933 is the number. Whatever's on your mind, if you want to share a Steve McNair memory or two of what you remember of that horrible day, July 4th, 2009, would love to hear from you. Stay tuned. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Are you ready to begin? Trevecca Nazarene University, from calling to becoming.
I trained my entire life to be the best. I was one of the fastest women in the entire country. But woke politics made me swim against a man, sharing the pool and the locker room. That's not just dangerous, it's degrading. Thank God for Marsha Blackburn. No one fights harder to protect us. Marsha Blackburn will always stand for strong women, because she's one of us.
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Okay, we are back on July the 3rd. By the way, big fireworks show tonight out at the Sounds. They do really good fireworks stuff around the 4th of July. The way the schedule worked this year, they're home today against Memphis, but then the two teams travel
to Memphis tomorrow. And that way, both franchises get the opportunity at a big crowd and a big fireworks show. Let's take some phone calls on this Thursday afternoon. Dave in Nashville, welcome in.
You doing, George?
I'm good. How are you?
I don't follow baseball very closely. I was wondering if you and Billy could tell me who the top 12 all-around best players out there right now.
The top 12. Okay, I don't know if I can go 12. I'm going to write down a few. Obviously, at the very top of the list would be Shohei Ohtani.
Yep.
I think that when he's healthy, and I'm not doing this as any particular order, Ronald Acuna from the Braves would have to be in that list.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge would have to be there. I think Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman both would be there.
Bobby Witt Jr.
Bobby Witt Jr. is a really good one. Bobby Witt Jr., although not having the kind of year, I'm trying to write these down, although not having the kind of year that he had last season, still really good. You know, I don't know if this would qualify now. 2 years ago, absolutely Mike Trout would have been on this list, and he would have been really high up on the list.
Maybe throw Francisco Lindor in there. Had a really good year last year.
I would throw Ellie De La Cruz in Cincinnati is one of those. Just
Cal Raleigh right now.
Cal Raleigh, good choice. Okay, so that's 10 that are pretty good ones. So throw out some teams, Billy. Give me some teams. Let me think through what I'm screwing up here.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Did we say him?
Yeah, I may not be buying it, but that's okay.
What about Yordan Alvarez? By that one?
I like that one in Houston.
Bryce Harper, Fernando Tatis.
Let's throw Harper in there. What the heck? Even though he's been hurt quite a bit this year. So Dave, here's our list. Not very scientific. Ohtani has to be on there. Acuna has to be on there. Judge, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Bobby Witt. I think everybody would say, okay, those 6 would be on dadgum near anybody's list that you would throw out there. Trout probably more so a couple of years ago. Lindor had a really good year with the Mets last season. Ellie De La Cruz, an emerging superstar with the Reds. Cal Raleigh has had a breakout career year. Yordan Alvarez is one that a lot of people may not know, but their offense gets nothing done without him. And Bryce Harper's a good one. There are probably 4 or 5 that you could put in that list that we've screwed up, but that's not a bad list.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Billy, any we're not thinking of?
Well, I mean, he said all around, so I guess he's not talking about pitchers. But, I mean, if you do throw pitchers in there, obviously Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens, Garrett Crochet, that would be tough if you include pitchers into that top 12. We had somebody in the chat say, how about Juan Soto or Julio Rodriguez?
Well, yeah Soto's got to be there. Shame on me that I would put Soto over Francisco Lindor.
And a lot of ours were just going off this season or, last season.
Okay, Jeff in Murfreesboro's up next. Jeff, welcome.
How you doing, George?
I'm good. Happy 4th to you.
Yeah, you too. I was going to say, I can't believe the Cubs won last night because you picked them yesterday. I watched some of it last night. They's down 3-2. Had some other stuff to come back, and they won 5-3. I know they got to been piecing the bullpen together, but hopefully they can they can keep it going second half. But I was looking yesterday, George, if the Cubs are in first place at the All-Star break, of course, this is their 150th year because they were the original National League back in the 19th. They went with the Cubs, and there's the White Stockings. But it'll be the 22nd time that they've been in first place at the All-Star break in their history. 22 times.
It's pretty.
First All-Star break. What I would say, George, they had some this one is Alabama's self-reported 6 violations this last year. I was going to give you a couple of them here real quick. In baseball, they had 2. A recruit, when he was on an official visit in his hotel room, he charged a high-speed internet to his hotel room. That's a violation. It's the lowest level 3. Got 6 of them different sports: baseball, gymnastics, one of them, and tennis. And this kid was on a visit at Alabama, a tennis player. The coach bought a little koozie for him, put drinks in. So you can't do that. And then gymnastics recruit, she was going to a camp, and she told people at the staff, here's the camp, so I'm going to commit to Alabama, go to Alabama, but you can't do that. So they, of course, they corrected everything. It's lower level 3. Well, the tennis coach, that got the koozie thing, the athlete was going to be ineligible until whatever that coach paid for that koozie, they had to give it to a charity. It's $5, whatever, $10, whatever. And then the same thing with that baseball player, however much they charge the internet, they got to give the money to a charity, and he'd be ineligible till then.
Wow.
Like soccer has some stuff through soccer and stuff rowing and stuff like that, but it's lower level. But they self-reported everything. They self-reported all of it to the NCAA. So, like I said, they corrected all of it. But of course, it's just like you say, it's not that's what the rules are. But of course, like I say, you could pay them now. So I don't know about all that other stuff, but you could pay them and stuff. But it's just it's part of it. The deal, you just got to watch what you do. And so I can't believe a recruit would be that dumb to put internet in his room or think, they're just going to pay for it, internet, or put some movies on there, say if it's double roots in there, are we going to put one of the adult movies on our room? I can't believe people that dumb to do. Just put it on there and say, hey, we just charged that, and they don't think it's a violation. They do have some sense. I don't get it, but now y'all have a good 4th of July. I hope the Cubs can hang on here for a little while and make the playoffs. So see y'all. Thank you.
Okay, Jeff, enjoy the fireworks. So, a couple of things to throw out there. I think the Cubs are good enough that they're going to win their division. And I think that from, let's say, here on to the end of the season, there aren't going to be a lot of seats available in 40,000-seat Wrigley Field. I think they're going to have one of the most exciting seasons ever. It's now been, 9 years since they won the world title. I don't think this team's going to win a world title, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Man, they've been fun. Just such a fun team to follow, and give credit, to their front office. Like you said, it's been 9 years and hasn't been easy to get back to this point, but they've done it. They're still young too. So this feels like a run that the Cubs are just beginning. Now they probably obviously won't be able to keep everybody, for next season, but it does feel like they've got a really good core that is going to stick there for a while, or at least should.
Billy, on the violations that he brought up, the koozie, to me, is symptomatic of maybe what's wrong with the NCAA.
It's ridiculous.
All around you is money out the you-know-what, and you're worried that a koozie is a violation? I think I'm right. A koozie as in the thing you would put a bottled water under? Really?
Yeah.
I will always believe, Billy, that one of the reasons that the NCAA has gotten stuck in this NIL mess is because they acted like such buttholes when they were in charge, when everything was in their favor. I saw something a couple of days ago, and some of you may have seen it. on SEC Network, and it was a deal about Dale Brown. And Dale Brown in the 80s had a player who was dying of cancer. And one of the player's last wishes was to have some of his teammates show up at an event that was for him. And Dale Brown ran it through the NCAA, and they made it clear you absolutely cannot do this. You can't, LSU cannot pay for their transportation. This is a violation. And maybe it is a violation, and maybe it opens up all kinds of things that I'm not thinking about. But, Dale Brown made a big to-do out of it. And in this documentary, he admits that he basically told the NCAA to go screw itself, gave the kids $300 for transportation purposes to get to wherever this event was. The player who passed away, his name, I think, is Mark Alcorn. And I will always believe that one of the reasons the NCAA is in this mess right now is because when they had the upper hand, they acted like total buttholes in scenarios where it was not necessary, where, national security was not at risk. I always believe that.
Yeah, they just, when they have a chance to use the little power they do have, they use it. And as stupid as a lot of the things they've done have been, that's what they've been about. They when they know, when it's clear as day and they can discipline you, they will. But when they don't have the leverage, which they haven't had the leverage for a while, they're just, they're up a creek, which has been the case.
At times, their lack of common sense of doing the right thing, whether it was a rule or not a rule, has now got them in the position where eventually they're probably going under.
There's no doubt about it. No doubt.
Casey on line 3, welcome into 94.9 The Fan.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I'm just calling today to talk about, I know we're about to have SEC Media Days, and we're kind of getting back into the football swing after, we had all this other stuff. Football's kind of been gone. College is over for a while, and then NFL obviously has been done for months, and the draft's months behind us. So I want to talk about Vandy football. I know they had this great season last year, but do you think they're going to do better, worse, or about just as good this year? I know they got Pavia back with the whole ruling and all that stuff, but what would y'all's prediction be for the season? I mean, I'm pretty sure they played the exact same SEC schedule. They just split home and away. So.
Okay, Billy, you go first.
Yeah, they can be better. They absolutely can. They've got the potential. They should have a slightly improved offensive line. They should continue to improve the defense. Last year's defense was a big part of some of those wins. You noticed that right off the bat in that Virginia Tech game. And you look at the special teams, going to be really good again. But like you said, Casey, the schedule's the same pretty much. You just flip home and home. You got to go to Blacksburg week 2 at night. That's a challenge. And then right after that, you got to go to Columbia, South Carolina at night. Play South Carolina. They haven't beaten them since 2007. And then you get a couple of cupcakes, Georgia State, Utah State. You got to go to Tuscaloosa. That's going to be tough. Bama will have revenge on their mind. Then you get a bye. And this is a stretch that I think Georgia is important. And I know we're still, 55 days away, but we'll be getting into this big time around media days. LSU and Missouri at home, at Texas, and then Auburn at home. That's sort of your gauntlet right there. And you can probably include Alabama in there. But I say the gauntlet, is the teams that are punched into your 2 bye weeks, basically. That's for Vandy this year. How do they perform there? Casey, I think they can, but to me, I think this is a year where they do something similar. I don't love making predictions, but I would say it's something similar, 7-6, maybe maybe 8-5. That's what I'd say.
This team, listen, this is a pipe dream, this 8-5 crap. And
how is that a pipe dream?
Well, because there's nothing in their history to indicate that that's going to happen.
Well, was it in their history of beating Alabama?
No. And I think we know that every last thing had to go right for them to go 7-6. Every last thing virtually had to go right. Their margin for error may be better than it has been, but I would say slightly. I'm not about to sit here and tell you they're going to win 8 games. I'll believe it when I see it. Is that an old fuddy-dud? Yeah, maybe. But I've watched 60 years of this, and I think I come from a better perspective than you do, Billy, of just how hard this battle is.
But last year, did you not look at that team? And yeah, they got some breaks. They needed the break against Virginia Tech. They needed every break against Bama. That's a good point. But did you not see something different that you hadn't seen in quite a while?
Yeah, it's called Diego Pavia.
And do you think he can improve?
Marginally. I mean, I wouldn't sit there and say, well, the beauty is that, he was here and the upside is way up here. No, I don't. I think he is pretty much what he is, which is nothing to sneeze at. He's really good. Now, the issue is that we don't know is, okay, we know damn good and well if he gets hurt, they're screwed.
Well, the thing is, he was hurt last year.
Sure.
And that's an act of God that they were able to get to 7 wins somehow. So
okay, so the likelihood of him getting hurt again, sadly, is up there pretty good because I don't think they're good enough to allow him to avoid taking hits.
Yeah, and look, he's going to take hits and he's going to get banged up. But the hope obviously is that what you did on the offensive line can protect him enough. The margin's going to be small again. I'm a guy that believes in Diego Pavia, and I can't see him. People saying they're going to go 3-9. I don't. That could be that's possible, but I don't see a Diego Pavia led team doing that.
Okay, but I'm not going 8-5.
Well, 8. I said 8-5. I said 7-6 is you get to 6-6, you win your bowl. 7-6 is probably the most likely scenario.
Okay, so give me the win that they would have to have in your mind to achieve the things
let's do this
out there.
Let's do this. Charleston Southern is a win.
Okay, because you made the comment.
Let's go through.
Hold on a second, because you made the comment about 2 breathers. One of those breathers crammed it up their butt a year ago and almost cost them this magical season.
That's true.
Called Georgia State.
That's true.
Okay.
But that's a breather in the schedule. No.
Well, compared to what's coming after that, yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it you want to do here?
Charles, let's go through the schedule. We're going to do win, loss, and toss up. I'm intrigued by this.
Okay.
Charleston Southern
1-0.
win. At Virginia Tech
1-1.
I think that's a toss up in my mind. You're saying straight up loss.
Yeah.
Okay. At South Carolina
1-2.
I'll agree that's a loss because they haven't done it in forever. Georgia State at home.
Let's go 2-2.
Okay, I'll agree that's a win. Utah State at home.
3-2.
I'm with you. At Alabama.
3-3.
Yep, I'm with you. A bye and then LSU at home. I think this is a similar situation to last year. I'm not going to sit here and say Vandy's going to beat LSU, but if you remember, they played Alabama off a bye after a big game against Georgia. So I think this. I'm not going to say it's a toss up. Vandy could sneak up and nab LSU, but I'm not gonna get it. And I think you agree. Missouri at home.
Don't know what their quarterback situation is, but that sort of feels
Bo
kind
Prabula.
of the same as LSU a little bit.
I would say that's a toss-up at home. Vandy.
So for them to do the things you want, they have to split those two.
Yes. I think they have to split this 4-game pocket right here. LSU, Missouri, at Texas, and Auburn. I think they're going to have to beat Auburn and Missouri in there, or an upset.
Why are they playing Auburn 2 years in a row on the road?
That's a good question. I think that's just how it kind of worked out with, because that's how they did it. They picked your teams you played, and you got to go back, turn around, and play them at home.
I mean, I'll say this. If Hugh Freeze wants another year, he probably doesn't need to lose the second home game to Vandy.
Home game?
Yeah.
That's at Vandy.
He lost. Well, no, that's what I asked.
Oh, no. That is at Vandy. My bad.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then a bye. Kentucky at home.
Okay.
That's a big one. That should be
Yep.
that's a game that probably should be a Vandy win. At Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think that I'm going toss up for Tennessee.
Yeah, right.
What do you like about Tennessee this year?
I like that they're a better football team than Vandy.
I know that. I'm just saying, I feel the perception of the Vandy-Tennessee game this year should be different than it was, or than it has been.
Look, some of this, admittedly, this is probably people listening going, they're just wasting time. Well, but since the caller brought it up, what the hell? But Billy, the margin for error, Tennessee's margin for error depth-wise is considerably better than Vanderbilt's. Tennessee's speed is considerably better than Vandy's off what I saw at the game here last season. Even with Pavi, and admittedly he wasn't 100%, but the fact of it is you're going on the assumption for what you're putting out there that he stays healthy the whole year. And I don't think that's a given. I hope you're right, but I don't think that's a given because of the way he has to play. And the way he has to play to be effective is he's got to run the football some.
Yeah. I wonder if Casey's still on the line.
Doesn't appear to be. Okay, we'll go to the break, and then we'll just ask the question. Oh, by the way, today we will close up shop on our Plaster Bet of the Day fiscal year.
Oh, yes.
And at the moment, because of 2 wins, I am a game over 500. However, don't think I took the easy road and just said, well, I'll play 1 game and no matter what, I'll be 500 for the year. Oh, no. I have, in a very gutsy move, real brave, I've taken 2 bets. And what I don't know is why did we choose that July 4th ended the year? Because this is the 3rd year we've done it that way.
I don't know, because we started the original Bet of the Day timeline was right around this time. No, it was more like June, but I think we just randomly came up with July 4th.
It's really random.
That is, yeah. I don't know. I don't even think there is a reason.
Okay, let's do this. We'll go to the break. And then let's see if there is a brave soul out there or 2 that will close up pre-July 4th for us in good fashion. 615-553-0933 is our number. Again, 615-553-0933. After it's all over, you can shoot off all the fireworks you want. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, Keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
We are back. I have no idea who this person is. I love their spirit, but I ain't buying it. Here's what got sent. George, the 1914 Braves, I guess they were in Boston at the time, were 13 under 500 on July the 4th. They were in 8th place, 15 games out. They won the World Series. All Atlanta has to do in 2025 is get to 6th place. And my answer to that is get real.
Yeah, I'm usually the type of person to steer you back in a positive direction. I think I did that maybe the first year of this show. So it'd be a couple of years back when they were struggling and ended up making it. But this, I don't feel it with this team this year. Usually, you know, if you're struggling and you got injuries and nothing's going right, and if you turn it around, you felt that was possible. You felt there was still something. I don't feel it with this team.
We'll get back to that in a minute. Bobby in Bellevue. Bobby, what's going on?
George.
Bobby, you're a good man.
39. George, the Braves are 39 and 46.
Okay. You act like I didn't know that.
Well, I don't think you talked about the Braves enough and what a disappointment they are, so I just thought I'd remind you.
You don't think I've talked about what a disappointment they are?
I just thought I'd bring it up. You know, 4th of July cheer.
Yeah. So, Bobby, are you a Braves fan?
I'm a Cubs fan, George.
Oh, you're gonna have some fun in the next couple of months. I think Wrigley Field is going to be out of sight. And I love when they win and they play that song, Go Cubs Go, and all those people out there in those left field bleachers have got the flag. It's really a cool environment. And while I'm not very pleased with my team, I'm happy for y'all. I really am.
Thank you, George. Question on Major League Baseball. May not happen, but I have a question. I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, let's do it.
Should the MLB shorten the season to save its national relevance? I think there's too many games.
I'd like to see 10 or 12 less. I know that's hard to do, but I think it'd be good. Appreciate what you're doing. Go Cubs.
Okay, go Cubs. I wouldn't be violently opposed. The number that you hear to reduce to is 154. So, they're at 162, and let's say you go to 154. I think the advantage to it, in particular in years where a northern team ends up playing in the World Series and it's 34 degrees at game time, is you give yourself a week of pad, where now you're getting World Series that go late in October and early into December. I believe I'm right that in 2021, when the Braves won it all, I think they won on like November the 6th, which is absurd.
Yeah.
I would not be violently opposed at all to going to 154. I don't know what the answer is as far as, relevance and how many people care about the game. What concerns me is I don't think young people are into it, and that's a shame.
Yeah. And think about this. I just thought about this as you were talking about that. The sport of baseball, when you compare the college level to the professional level, in college baseball, at the end of a season, if you were to win the national title, you've probably played around 60 games? Isn't that right?
Yeah, something
right
like
around
that.
there. 60, 62, 63, something like that. But in the 60s. If you were to win the World Series, how many games would you have played in the big leagues?
Well, you would have, let's see,
almost
you got
200, right?
Yeah, you got 162, and then you've got a 5, a 7, and a 7.
So
7, 7. You could play as many as 188 regular season and postseason games.
Okay, so 188 in the big league level, in
Yeah.
the college level in the 60 range.
Mhm.
In basketball, the NBA, what do we have there? Because college,
Okay,
right, there's not as big of a discrepancy.
to win a world title in the NBA, you're going to play probably 100 to 105 either regular season or postseason.
Meanwhile,
Same thing in the NHL.
but in the college level, I mean, what I'm getting is it's way too big of a discrepancy for these guys, and a Paul Skeens, for example. He might even be a bad example because he's a different breed. But for pitchers specifically, they're pitching. In the big leagues, they've got 4 days rest typically
Between starts.
Yeah, but
okay,
college you've got a week pretty much. So that's what I'm getting at. That I don't think it should be that big of a discrepancy between how many games you play at the college level and how many games you play at the professional level. And
I don't see where one translates to the other. I mean,
but
for
why?
instance,
I mean, baseball you play 60 at the college level. In professional, you play 180. That doesn't doesn't connect with me and
okay,
feel
but
right.
but one of them ends their season on or around June the 25th to June the 30th.
That's what I'm saying. Why is it such a big discrepancy though?
Well, first of all, the colleges have decided that in the summer their kids ought to go play Cape Cod League or those kind of leagues. I would make the argument that college baseball would kill if it was an April through the end of July sport.
Yeah.
But now it would destroy the Cape Cod League and some other things, and they've been very hesitant to do that. But college baseball in February is stupid.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I just thought about that. It dawned upon me. I was like, something about that doesn't seem right about, that football, fairly similar, right? You've got 17 regular season games in the NFL. College, you got 12. Pretty similar. basketball. A little bit more of a difference, but fairly similar.
I think you're trying to get to apples and oranges. They're just not. You can't do that comparison. Now you can, but my opinion is it just doesn't wash.
You're saying because of the Cape, because they keep playing anyway. Is that?
Well, I think college baseball, if it really wanted to take off, make it an April sport. Starts in April after the NCAA basketball tournament, where you're playing these big series in June and your World Series and your playoffs are in July, they'd kill it. They might also really hurt Major League Baseball. I know we got to go to the final break. What a riveting show this has been. On July the 3rd of 2025, Plaster Bets of the Day are coming up next.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the information superhighway. They don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to thegamenashville.com.
The password, we're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's Family Leisure's 4th of July sale. Huge savings on pools, spas, grills, and outdoor furniture.
Above ground pools start at only $19.99. 24-foot pools are only $29.99. Installed. Guaranteed installation in less than 7 days.
Wow, that's fast.
These warm summer nights are perfect for sitting outside.
Family Leisure's 4th of July sale has big savings on patio furniture from all the big brand names. Berlin Gardens, Three Palms, Woodard, and Tropitone. Save up to 70% on in-stock furniture. 5-piece dining sets start at $8.99. 4-piece deep seating groups are only $14.99.
Hundreds of Chase lounges at buy one, get one at half price.
Right now, for the 4th of July sale, Family Leisure is discounting all their spas. Name brands like Catalina, Artesian, and American Select. There are more than 40 spas on display and on sale at both locations.
I think it's time for me to get a new Sabre infrared grill, too.
It's Family Leisure's 4th of July sale going on now at both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Make a weekend trip down to Atlanta this summer to enjoy some great baseball at Truist Park. Your Atlanta Braves will face the Yankees and Giants July 18th through the 23rd. And on July 20th, the first 3,000 kids will receive a copy of the Good Night Braves fan children's book. And then on July 21st, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Braves rope hat presented by Napa Auto Parts. Visit braves.com/promos to purchase your tickets today. Atlanta Braves baseball. Tennessee is Braves country.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Final segment on a Thursday. Hopefully everybody enjoys the 4th of July tomorrow. Stay safe and be careful around the fireworks. We got a big day, big weekend coming up, especially with baseball, with games left and right. We'll see where George is going to wrap up this season of Bet of the Day. He could have relaxed, let it play out, just say, I'm taking the win, but no, he's going to ride with a couple of bets tonight. We'll see where he's going. And again, it's all brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. We take a look last night at what happened. 2 wins with the Mets and the Cubbies.
So guess who we're going with tonight?
The Mets and the Cubbies.
You know, as a matter of fact, we are. Cubs are a 145 favorite against the Cleveland Guardians. I think the Cubs are for real. I do think they're going to win their division, and I think Wrigley over the next couple of months is going to be a ton of fun. The Mets, who knows? I can't figure out why they have slumped the way they have, but I'm taking them. I believe I'm going to get at least 1 out of 2, and that when we reconvene on Monday, I'll be able to say to Kelly Holcomb, Kelly, I had a winning year. Take that, big boy.
I'm ready for his reaction.
Hey, to all of you, Billy said it earlier. If you're out and about, do it safely. Be as safe as you can around fireworks, because while they're fun to watch, they can be really dangerous. And don't forget, as we celebrate our country's birthday, we live in the best country in the world, and it ain't even close. See you Monday.